So, in our today's lecture, we are going to start with the next point. It's the structure of secondary oocyte. It is also called as unfertilized ovum. Unfertilized ovum. It is also called as the unfertilized ovum. So, as you know, the secondary oocyte is released from the Graafian follicle during the ovulation. Okay, this is the ovary, and as you know, these are the oogonium, then primary, secondary, and the tertiary follicles. Okay, this tertiary follicle is called as a Graafian follicle. It is called as a Graafian follicle. Okay. Primary, secondary, and tertiary follicle, right? So, this Graafian follicle is a tertiary follicle, and this tertiary follicle having this is the primary oocyte first, and then it converts into the secondary oocyte at the time of ovulation. Okay, it contains a primary oocyte. This primary oocyte, when it gets ruptured, when this Graafian follicle gets ruptured, during its rupturing, this Graafian follicle, what it emits out, it releases out a secondary oocyte. Okay, it releases out a secondary oocyte. Okay. So during early tertiary follicle formation, it is a primary oocyte. But when it gets fully matured and turns into the Graafian follicle, it having a secondary oocyte. So we are now going to study the secondary oocyte. Okay, this secondary oocyte is also called as unfertilized ovum. Okay, it is also called as a unfertilized ovum. So related with this point, its approximate size is near about 100 microns. Okay, its size is near about Its size is about 100 microns. And it is the biggest cell in the body of a human. Okay, this is known to be the biggest cell in the body of a human, and it is non-motile. The feature, it is non-motile. It is non-motile one. Okay, so this is also one of the important features, and it having abundant cytoplasm inside it. It having abundant cytoplasm inside it, and another one, it having haploid set of chromosome. It having haploid set of chromosome which is coming from the maternal side. Okay, so now the exact structure of a unfertilized ovum, that is a secondary oocyte. Okay, it is surrounded by the, as you know, previously these cells are called as a follicular cells. Then we called it as a granulosa cells, and further on, this granulosa cells we call these as a, these are converted into corona radiata layer, right? Okay, so now we are going to study this secondary oocyte. So everyone related with this part, secondary oocyte, to whom we call as the secondary oocyte, when the Graafian follicle get ruptured, and from the Graafian follicle, the secondary oocyte emits out. Okay, so related with the structure. Okay, so you everyone start drawing the diagram with me. 100 micron sized unfertilized ovum having a plasma membrane or a vitelline membrane and having a perivitelline space. Okay, this is a plasma membrane or a vitelline membrane or ooplasm. Sorry, plasma membrane or a vitelline membrane. Oolema. Okay. So then around it there is a transparent non-cellular membrane called as a zona pellucida. This is transparent non-cellular material membrane called as a zona pellucida. I am not drawing anything here. That is a transparent membrane. This is a transparent membrane, right? Okay, zona pellucida. And just around the zona pellucida, a zona pellucida zona is covered by, the zona pellucida layer is covered by specialized follicular cells. These follicular cells are called as, these cells are called as corona radiata cells. Okay, these cells are called as the corona radiata cells. So radiating cells are there. These, the unique feature of this radiating cells, in between this cell there is so much material, so much chemical substance is there which glued that cells with each other. Okay, so that no one can enter easily into this inner side of the secondary oocyte. Okay. This layer is called as the corona radiata cells. Okay, so we will label it. Okay. Prior to that, it having a centrally placed nucleus. Okay, a centrally placed nucleus. This, why this is nucleus is a centrally placed, because it having abundant cytoplasm and very less amount of yolk. So if it having abundant cytoplasm and very less amount of yolk, so it is called as a human egg is a microlecythal egg. So why the human egg is microlecythal? Because it having, yes, increased amount, abundant amount of what? Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm and very little amount of yolk. Right? So it is called as a microlecythal type of egg. And as I have stated earlier in previous video, this secondary oocyte or unfertilized ovum is arrested at metaphase. It is arrested at metaphase. That means it is not, the cell division is not complete here. The chromosomes are at equator. Okay, here the chromosomes are at equator. And so it is arrested at metaphase. It is arrested at metaphase. So this is a nucleus. Nucleus. You can mention it as a arrested at metaphase. Okay, so you will recall the last lecture and you will memorize that the arrested at metaphase at meiosis second. Which division? Meiosis second. Clear? So the next one. This is called as a plasma membrane. Plasma membrane. Or it is also called as a plasma membrane or a vitelline membrane. It is also called as a vitelline membrane. This is called as a corona radiata cells. Corona radiata. Radiata cells. And layer is called as a corona radiata. And this layer is called as a zona pellucida. Here I am mentioning first. Here is the first polar body. This position. First polar body. And one more point I have remained. This one, the space is called as a perivitelline space. Perivitelline space. This space is called as a perivitelline space, and this layer is called as a, which is a non-cellular transparent material called as a zona pellucida. Yes, as you know, who secretes the zona pellucida? I have stated in my previous video. Okay, zona pellucida. Yes, so zona pellucida is secreted by, it is your MCQ question, right? Zona pellucida, it is non-cellular transparent material secreted by, yes, the cells which are present in a Graafian follicle, which are surrounding to the antrum. Yes, I'm giving clue. Okay, so these cells secretes the zona pellucida membrane. Okay, which is transparent one. And here is the first polar body. As in previous video, you have studied the oogenesis. Okay, formation of ova. Okay, during which you have studied that this secondary oocyte is arrested at metaphase. It is arrested at metaphase and formation of secondary oocyte. Okay, it is comes under the meiosis. It comes under the meiosis. Meiosis होता है, reduction division होता है, and that during that the secondary oocyte get formed. Right now we are turning towards the, so related how you will explain the secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte, it is a biggest cell in the body of a human. It is released during ovulation by rupturing the Graafian follicle. It is released during the ovulation by rupturing the Graafian follicle. Its size is near about 100 microns. Okay, and it is surrounded by, okay, it is non-movable cell. It is surrounded by, the outermost layer is called as corona radiata. The cells are radiating out. Okay, these are radiating cells, so named as a corona radiata layer. Okay, just, and these corona radiata layers, these cells are glued with each other by a chemical named as hyaluronic acid. Mind you have familiar with the word hyaluronidase enzyme, right? Which is especially has an ability to lyse out this hyaluronic acid. Clear? So especially these cells, the corona radiata cells, are glued with each other by an acid named as hyaluronic acid. Okay, so this hyaluronic acid gives a tight junctioning, or they are just glued with each other, so no one can enter inside it. Okay, so no any other can penetrate it, and this is a species specific. Okay, specificity is very important during the fertilization process. Okay, no others species sperm can't fuse it. Okay, it can't fuse it, so it's very specific, right? So this is the corona radiata layer, and this corona radiata cells are glued with each other by an hyaluronic acid, and only the hyaluronidase enzyme, which is present at the acrosomal cap, is able to dissolve this hyaluronic acid. Clear? Okay, and it is very specific. So who glued this? The name hyaluronic acid. Then just below to it there is the another layer which is transparent one, and it is called as a zona pellucida. It is called as a zona pellucida. This zona pellucida plays a very important role in to avoiding polyspermy, as well as it avoids wrong site implantation. Okay, so as you know, Okay, suppose this is a fallopian tube. This is a fallopian tube, and as you know, the ampulla is the site of fertilization. The ampulla is the site of fertilization. So this zona, and further on, okay, this zona pellucida remains till this is present in it, in a fallopian tube. Okay, so it avoids polyspermy. It avoids polyspermy. Okay, it avoids polyspermy as well as responsible for to avoid wrong site implantation. Means it avoid ectopic pregnancy. That means a pregnancy which took place in a fallopian tube. It is avoided by this zona pellucida layer. Clear? So the very important role of this zona pellucida is it avoids wrong side implantation, and it maintaining the size of the oocyte. Still, it becomes a zygote. Multiple divisions occur inside during development, but still this zona is there, which maintaining a specific size into the fallopian tube, right? Okay, so what is the function of zona pellucida? It avoids wrong site implantation and also participate in forming another hard, tough covering around the secondary oocyte during when fertilization process or the male pronuclei enters into the secondary oocyte during that. Okay, then the next one, the plasma membrane. Okay, then the next one is a plasma membrane or a vitelline membrane. Okay, this plasma membrane or a vitelline membrane is surrounding the cytoplasm. It surrounds the cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is divided into two parts. Okay, the outer side of this cytoplasm is granular. It is granular one. It having granules. Okay, it having granules, and this granules having a role during the formation of fertilizing membrane. Okay, they form karte hue yahi mata related with this. This cytoplasm is divided into ectoplasm and endoplasm. Okay, the ectoplasm is granular, while the innermost is the endoplasm. It is not so much granular, but having less amount. Okay, so it is a granular one. Encloses the plasma membrane, forming the boundary around the cytoplasm. Okay, so inside it having abundant cytoplasm, very less amount of yolk. Okay. So this egg is called as a microlecythal type of egg. The type of egg human egg is, the question can be asked as human egg is microlecythal. Micro means very little amount. Okay. Very little amount of yolks. When there is a very little amount of yolk, then it is called as a microlecythal type of egg. Another type is also there, alecythal. And further on, different type of eggs are there, but human egg is a microlecythal egg. Why? Because there is an abundant cytoplasm and very less amount of yolk. Yolk quantity is very less. And because of the abundant cytoplasm, this cytoplasm pushing the nucleus towards the periphery. So the nucleus of secondary oocyte is acentrally placed. It is acentrally placed, and it is placed near to the site of first polar body. As you know, during meiotic division, the cytoplasm is unequally distributed. Okay, during growth phase, as you know, growth phase during oogenesis, this 2n is divided firstly into meiosis first. It undergoes meiosis first, and during this, the nuclear division is equally happens, and unequal cytoplasmic division takes place. This is single end. Clear? Okay. So the amount of cytoplasm here, as compared with this is a polar body. Okay, this is a polar body. So unequal cytoplasmic division takes place, which having abundant amount of cytoplasm and it having very less amount of cytoplasm. Okay, so what is the role of polar body? It is not still known, but it is known to be. It may be remove out the unnecessary genetic material during meiosis. Maybe unnecessary genetic material can be removed because of this, and this first polar body remains still implantation. Okay, it remains still implantation. Its function is yet exactly not known, but it may be said like that. It may carry the unnecessary genetic material and remove it. Okay, afterwards, during fertilization, afterwards it disappeared further on. Okay, after implantation. Then the next one is the related with the nucleus. So here is an unequal distribution happens during meiosis, and so that the cytoplasm comes maximum into one, and this is called as a secondary oocyte. Okay, we named it as a secondary oocyte. Okay, as you know, the secondary oocyte having abundant cytoplasm. How it is? Yes, the answer is there. So the next one, this nucleus. It having a nucleus, and this nucleus is arrested at metaphase. It is arrested at metaphase. So during female, as you know, in a female, when the female fetus is in the womb of mother, during that the ovaries get formed, right? The oogonium get formed, right? The number of oogonium is maximum. Okay, mother cell. Okay, its number is maximum during the fetal condition, and afterwards, after the birth, its number reduced to half, and up to puberty, its number remains near about 40,000. Right? So this is all you know. So related with the another point, as you have studied that the after birth to puberty, this is arrested at prophase. It is arrested at prophase, and that means it takes so many years. It takes many years to complete its division, and this happens when it comes at the age of puberty. Clear? And the next one, this secondary oocyte get formed. Okay, but this secondary oocyte wait till the sperm touches to it and then completes its cell division. That means in a female, okay, in a female, it is not so quick cell division happens. Okay, in female, there is no quick cell division happens. So especially you are might be clear with the concept. Okay, in case of female, the cell division, whatever the first one is the mitosis, then meiosis is followed, but this meiosis takes too much time span. Okay, some years, and then up to when the sperm touches to it, then it completes its complete cell division, and then it turns into the ovum. Okay, so fertile secondary oocyte is named as a ovum. Clear? So we named it as a secondary oocyte as an unfertilized ovum. Clear, everyone? Okay, so the next one. It is arrested at metaphase. So many questions can be asked in a CET as well as NEET related with the structure of oocyte. So it is very and you must be very focused on this point. As I have stated in earlier, the TS of ovary, the graphene follicle, the menstrual cycle, and the structure of secondary oocyte. Very important point. So everyone is clear with this. So everyone listen carefully. The outermost layer is called as, just revise, the outermost layer is called as a corona radiata layer, which is glued, these corona radiata cells glued with each other by hyaluronic acid. Then just below to it is a zona pellucida layer. This zona pellucida is transparent membrane, and it avoids wrong site implantation. Then just inner side, it having a plasma membrane. This plasma membrane is forming, or a vitelline membrane which forming a boundary around this cytoplasm. Here is a tremendous cytoplasm. Okay, abundant amount of cytoplasm is there, very less amount of yolk. Okay, this cytoplasm which is placed at periphery, it is granular. Okay, while inner side it is clear one, and abundant because of the max cytoplasm, it pushes the nucleus towards the periphery near to the polar body, first polar body, right? And the another one is the nucleus. Nucleus is arrested at metaphase. Clear? So every egg having two pole site. It having two pole site. So the nucleus is present at this side and the polar body. So because of this pole is called as an animal pole site. This is the animal pole. And opposite it is called as a vegetal pole. Vegetal pole. So every egg having two pole site, animal pole site and a vegetal pole site. Okay, you have seen a chicken egg. Okay, related with the chicken egg, it having a broad base and tapering region, right? This is a chicken egg. So this side of the chicken egg is called as an animal pole site, and this is a vegetal pole site. Okay, so if you see inner side, it having this one. Here is a ear space cavity, and the embryo formation took place at this site. Here is the site. So related with in every egg, the animal pole site having is further on having the embryo. The embryo development took place at the animal pole site. And basically you can see at the animal pole site, in case of human egg, there is a nucleus and the first polar body. And this is the site at where, and this is especially the site at where the first sperm arise, and whatever the sperm arise at this site can show easy penetration, okay, towards this. So especially this is related with the secondary oocyte. Okay, further on we are moving towards the next point of this topic, which is very important, that is fertilization, or it is also named as a syngamy. Okay, so related with the fertilization point. So for that we require this diagram. Fertilization or syngamy. So what do you mean by, how we define fertilization? Fertilization means fusion of, definition we are learning, it's a fusion of haploid female gamete, haploid male gamete with a female gamete, haploid male gamete with female gamete, with haploid female gamete. Haploid female gamete to form diploid zygote. So definition is very, very simple. It's a fusion of haploid male gamete with a haploid female gamete to form a diploid zygote. Simple. It is a biochemical process. Biochemical and physiological change happens This is the egg, and this is the sperm. Egg or secondary oocyte. More precise, we can say it as a secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte. And this is the sperm. Right? So it's a fusion of haploid female gamete and a haploid male gamete to form a diploid zygote. What is the result of this? Its result is the formation of diploid zygote. Okay, it forms. This is also a haploid one. This is also a haploid. So single end coming from the sperm and single end from here. Okay, to form a diploid zygote. And this diploid is called as a zygote. And mark the sentence, this zygote is a unicellular embryo. Unicellular embryo. Okay, so it is a neat question. So you must know the zygote is a unicellular embryo. Zygote is also called as a unicellular embryo. So most of the students get confused. Is the zygote is the embryo? Yes, it is the embryo because it having diploid condition. Okay, two sets of chromosome it having. Okay, so it is called as a unicellular embryo. Mark it for neat purpose. Then the another one, it is also called as amphimixis. Why it is named as amphimixis? Because related with the amphimixis, there is intermingling of the chromosomes. Okay, so when the zygote get formed from the maternal and paternal, during this the maternal and paternal chromosomes get intermingling. Okay, they get intermingled with each other, and so that the diploid set get formed, and because of that we are saying it as a amphimixis. Clear, everyone? So more precisely, during the fertilization process there is a intermingling of the haploid set of maternal chromosome with a paternal chromosome to result a diploid zygote. Okay, so because of that it is called as a amphimixis. Clear, everyone? So this is related with the definition. Once again, the fusion of haploid male gamete with a haploid female gamete to form a diploid zygote. Okay, and it is also called as a syngamy, means fusion of the same, these two. Fusion of these two is called as a syngamy. Clear? This is the syngamy. And this is also called as amphimixis because intermingling of maternal and the paternal chromosomes with each other to result a diploid zygote. Okay, so it is called as an amphimixis. Clear, everyone? Okay, very good. Now we are turning towards the next point. It is the events during fertilization. Okay, what are the events during fertilization? So fertilization is not so easy that the sperms are deposited and the baby conceived. It is not so easy. So it is a totally biochemical process. Formation of it is a very complex process, biochemical, molecular level process. It is a fertilization. So especially related with the fertilization, what happens? We are the first one. What are the steps or events during fertilization? We will see. Okay. Events during fertilization. Okay, so related with the events. The first event is insemination. So, insemination. What do you mean by insemination? Insemination means just a deposition of semen. It is the deposition of semen sample into the deposition of semen into the female reproductive tract. Okay, so during insemination, as you know, the sexual desire, I have previously stated that the sexual desire in case of human, especially the sexual desire is under control of, it is generated in a hypothalamus. The sexual desire is generated into the hypothalamus, especially. Okay, and during this act of coitus or intercourse of sexual intercourse, okay, the male sheds the semen into the female reproductive tract. During successful intercourse, near about 2 to 4 ml of semen sample is deposited into the vagina of the female. And it may contains near about 200 to 400 million number of sperms. So you can see during intercourse or during insemination, male sheds the semen sample into the female reproductive tract, and the amount of semen is near about 2 to 4 ml of semen sample is poured into the female reproductive tract, and it contains near about 200 to 400 million number of sperms. Okay, so related with this, the number of sperms, 200 to 400 million number of sperm. So you can see here, only one ovum, only one secondary to fuse, only one secondary oocyte. The number of sperms, how many number of sperms are released? These are maxed. Very large amount of sperms are released. So a single, as I have stated earlier, the secondary oocyte is the biggest or largest cell in the body of a human. A single ovum or secondary oocyte receives near about or more than hundreds of the sperm at the same time on its surface. That means on its surface it can receive near about hundreds of sperm. Okay, so as much big as it is, okay, it can receive more than hundreds of the sperm. But all these sperms can't reach towards the secondary oocyte. Okay, it can't reach towards the secondary oocyte. Why? Because there are so many obstacles. Okay, in a path where the sperm enters towards and reaches towards the ovum, there are so many obstacles. This journey is filled with so many obstacles. Okay, so we will study about all these. So clear, everyone? First one is the insemination. Then the next one. When insemination, you understood the meaning of the insemination, deposition of a semen into the female reproductive tract during the act of coitus. Okay, then arrival of sperm towards the ovum. Okay, the next part is the arrival of sperm. towards the ovum, towards the ovum, towards the secondary oocyte, towards the secondary oocyte, more precise, rather than the, or you can say unfertilized ovum, right? So, related with this. So, arrival of sperm. As you know, what the semen contain, the semen, the name semen means it's a sugar containing fluid, right? It having a fructose. Okay, we will focus on the composition of the semen first, and then we have studied it in previous. Semen contains what? Fructose. What is having? Fructose. Then prostaglandins. Next one is a prostaglandins. Glandins. Okay. So it having prostaglandins. Okay. So related with it having prostaglandins, then coagulase and fibrinogen. Fibrinogen, coagulase. Okay, all these are present in a and Ca++ ions. So ions are also there. Okay, which are present in this. So related with this, the semen contains all this, and it plays a very important role, which assists the sperm. As you know, the sperm are the highly motile cell in the body of a human. Okay, again the question for CT, which is the highly motile cell in the body of a human, and that is the sperm. Okay, biggest cell in the body of a human is the secondary oocyte or the ovum. Okay, you can say. Then, so we will see the events. Here is the female reproductive tract. I am drawing female reproductive system. Here is the uterus. Okay, these are the fallopian tubes. Okay. Here is the these are the fallopian tubes. Okay. So roughly, I'm roughly drawing the diagram. Here is the and this is the inner mucosal lining. Muscular layer. Smooth muscle layer is there. Myometrium. This is the thick endometrium I am drawing here. Highly coiled one. Highly coiled. Endometrium, which is very thick. As you know, stratum functionalis layer. This is a stratum basalis, and above it is a stratum functionalis. Highly folded. So in art, and this is the cervix, internal os and external os. Okay. This is the secondary oocyte released on the day of 14th. It is released on the day of 14th, ideal day of ovulation. We are considering it. Okay. On the day of 14th, the female is ovulating, and the same day the intercourse happens. Okay. As you know, the female secondary oocyte remains viable only 2 days, able to fertilize within 2 days. Okay. And if during this period only, if the sperm reaches towards this secondary oocyte and fertilize it, then and then only the pregnancy can happen. Okay. Okay. So as you know, during the 14th day of 14th day is the day of or day of ovulation, and during that the secondary oocyte get formed. This is the secondary oocyte get formed. It is taken into the ampulla. Okay, it is taken into the fallopian tube and waits for sperms into the ampulla for fertilization. As you know, the site of fertilization is ampulla. Again, the MCQ CET. Okay, question. Okay, so this is the site of fertilization, especially at where the secondary oocyte is now ready to fuse with the sperm. During this, when the female is on ovulation, during ovulation, what happened? During ovulation, here is the Bartholin gland is there. This gland secretes a mucous membrane into the vagina of the female. Okay, what? So the inner lining of the vagina, when she is ovulated, when the female is ovulated, during that the secretion of the Bartholin glands is increased, which makes this mucus lining very viscous. Okay, fragile mucus is there, and this mucus is assisting. It is assisting to during the act of coitus or intercourse. So related with this, you are very clear, and because of that only, okay, during the ovulation period, the female is feeling sexually excited. Okay, during the ovulation, the female is naturally in her hot period. And she is sexually excited during the ovulation period. Okay, during insemination, we have seen the female receives, this is the vagina of the female, and this vagina receives the penis. Okay, it receives the penis, and as you know, what are the obstacles in the fertilization? The first obstacle is the vagina, the pH of vagina. The first obstacle is the pH of vagina. Okay, so related with the vagina, this vagina is too much acidic. It having acidic pH. Okay, so atmosphere in a vagina is acidic, and because of action of the acid, near about, as you know, near about during successful intercourse, near about 200 to 400 million of sperms are inseminated or released or ejaculated into the vagina. Clear? From that, half of the sperms get sacrificed by the action of this acidic atmosphere. To try to neutralize this acidic vagina, near about half of the sperms get killed in this region. Okay, so and generally as majority, the role of here is the role of coagulation. What is the role of coagulation? When along with the semen sample, the sperm enters, it may be drained out. To avoid draining out the semen along with the sperm, here is the coagulation. The role of coagulation occurs. Here is the role of coagulation. So what the role of coagulation especially? So this coagulate latches this sperm to the wall of this vagina. So because of that, this sperm moves towards this side. Okay, and avoids the draining of the sperms out to the vagina after removal of the penis. Okay, so these sperms get latched to the inner side of the vagina. Okay, because of whom? The coagulase enzyme. Okay, only the semen, whatever the semen, the liquid material which comes out, but it doesn't having max amount of sperms. Whatever the killed sperms, they may be removed out. The viable and highly motile sperms which get latched on the wall of the vagina, the wall of coagulation. After some time, the another enzyme which works on it, that is a fibrinogen. This fibrinogen releases the fibrins, and so that what happened, this, as the semen is coagulated one, it free out, and so that the sperms get free and then enters into the, from the cervix, it enters into the vagina. Clear? Okay, the another path, here is the another obstacle to enter the sperm into the uterus, that is the cervix. The cervix means the opening of the uterus into the vagina, which is lined by internal os and external os, which is so tight. Related with, one more MCQ, related with sati, which is the tightness pincher in the body of a human, that is the cervix. So cervix is the most tightness pincher in the body of a human, and it also doesn't allow the sperm to easily penetrate into the uterus. So here is the acidic medium, okay, and which works as an obstacle to cause the maximum half of the sperms get killed into the vagina. Okay, further on, the another one. As you know, the fructose is a sugar which provides motility to the sperm, and so that the sperm shows a lashing movement, very quick movement, and can reach towards the ovum within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, it can reach towards this. Okay, so this all related with this part. Okay, so we will see the next point in a next lecture further on. Okay, we will stop here.